It's been a crazy time in sports. It's been real interesting, man. Been a lot of things going on, mainly in the basketball world and the NBA world, man. Just with these NBA playoffs, man, it's been pretty crazy. I actually, when they first started, man, I was a little worried. I wasn't really tapped in like I was, like I am now, man. It's definitely, these NBA playoffs definitely have me tuned in, man. It's a lot of new blood, new young superstars making some noise. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves, man, for making it to the Western Conference Finals, man. They was able to bounce out two legends on the first round, LeBron, and an up and coming legend in Luka. And then this second round, man, I was able to bounce out Steph Curry. Understandably, his injury impacted anything. Was very detrimental to Golden State. So it definitely impacted that series. But just to see a new team in Minnesota, not necessarily new, they've been making some noise the last couple of years, but just to see them have a chance to possibly make the finals, man, it'll it'll be a good thing.
Shit, it was the Mavericks and the Celtics.
You're right. It was the Mavericks. I forgot Luka did knock out Ant-Man. Yeah, Luka went nuts last year. But yeah, I was right. I was on point. See some new blood and the Timberwolves get in there. And then on the other side, man, on the East Coast, Eastern Conference, man, is that shit's been crazy, man. Just being able to see what what the Pacers have done. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I've never been a Pacers fan ever in my life. You know, with them being so close to Cincinnati, that's basically because we don't have a team. Since I've been born, we've never had a team. Maybe you, on the other hand, OG, but nah, it's like a shit. I don't think you was around when the Royals was around either. But yeah, for them to be doing what they doing in the playoffs, I ain't gonna lie, I've grown a liking of the Pacers, surprisingly. I've never been, like I said, a Pacers fan, ever was a Reggie Miller fan. I guess more or less because the Pacers, they were always one of those teams that was gritty, from the trenches, play hard. They was one of those teams that always tried to break the heart of your favorite superstar, but they never was able to get over that hump. In terms back in the Reggie Miller era, you had Jordan. I was a Jordan fan. I used to hate seeing the Pacers in the playoffs. Used to hate it because there was always that team that's gonna fight to the end, bro. Like they took Jordan to Game 7, man. I almost was able to pull it off, but gladly so, the Bulls was able to beat them. And then go to the Paul George era with LeBron. When LeBron had those Miami teams, like, they were a team that you thought, damn, like they really might get over the hump. Never did. You know what I'm saying? Almost, but they didn't. So you could say a few years after that, they facing LeBron again when this second stint with the Cavs. They was almost able to get him, but they didn't. Now it's time. It's time. And I ain't gonna lie. They got a superstar in the making with that boy Tyrese Halliburton, man. And he got them boys clicking on all cylinders, man. I knew first round they was going to handle Milwaukee, even if Milwaukee would have had Dame. Unfortunately, Dame got hurt. Shouts out to Dame. I hope he gets well soon with his Achilles injury. But I had a feeling, man, they was going to pop them first round. Second round, with them playing the Cavs, a lot of people thought the Cavs was going to beat the Pacers. But I had a feeling, I'm like, man, this Pacers team matches up with Cleveland. They fight, they play hard-nosed basketball, so they got a shot. Unfortunately, it was a few injuries early in the season with the Cavs, with Garland, Mobley. But the Cavs, they still fought, man. They still had a chance to win that game. I think it was game 2, those players was out. But Pacers fought. That was probably one of the best games in the playoffs, not just the series, in the playoffs. That game 2, the Indiana Pacers Cleveland Cavaliers game, They was able to steal that game too with a Tyrese Halliburton 3. What was so crazy, because that sequence was crazy. I think Tyrese Halliburton had got fouled. I want to say he made the first free throw, and he missed the second one on purpose. Got the rebound, pulled it out, step back 3 for the game. It was crazy, man. Yeah, that was one of the best games of the playoffs. But yeah, shouts out to the Pacers, man. I'm growing a liking to that team. And then you got those Knickerbockers, man. those New York Knicks, man. Shout out to the Knicks, man. They've been playing their ass off, and I'm growing a liking to them too as well. Like, I didn't really fuck with the Knicks like that, but just seeing how hard they get in and how hard they play, man, they got a real good shot. Now, don't count the defending champs out, the Celtics. Shouts out to the Celtics. Also, big shouts out to Jason Tatum with his injury, man. That was tough seeing him go down. One of my homies was made note, man. It's been a crazy year with all these injuries, man. I don't know, D-Mo, if you've seen a year like this with all these superstars going down one playoff at one time in the playoffs. It's been pretty crazy, man. I could go back and say KD went down. I think that was 2019. I think it was a couple other players that went down that year. Also, the year, I think LeBron's second stint, Kevin Love and Kyrie going down, but I don't think it's been spread out like at least 3 superstars on the team this year. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But shouts out to the healthy teams that's still in there banging and fighting. So we gonna see, man. I'm really curious to see if we could get a old school New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers matchup, bro. Like, I don't know if you remember them playoff matchups back in the day with Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, John Starks, Derek Harper, Reggie Miller, Dale Davis, Rick Smits. Hey, them was some battles, bro. So I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little nervous for the Knicks tonight. We'll break down that in a little bit after the break, but I really want to see the Knicks go against the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, man, and I want to see some new blood in there, man, make it, because they don't got no superstars to dethrone them. It's no Jordan. It's no LeBron. I know they biting at the bit like, yes, we finally can maybe possibly get in there, unless the Celtics got something up their sleeve. But I think even if the Celtics was to beat the Knicks, which is still a possibility, I think the Pacers got what it takes without Jason Tatum. But the Celtics ain't gonna go out with a fight, so it's gonna be real interesting, man. What you got for me, D-Mo?
It was when you first started out, I started thinking about those New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers, man, and then you talked about team local here. I talked on a previous episode, and I told you we do have a team. Cincinnati does have an NBA team. It exists in Sacramento right now. So for whatever reason, they
man,
the form
that's what you hanging on to them.
Yeah,
nah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
if you want to really take it there. Nah, that's a fact.
And they're on loan right now, and big up to the
right
town. Big up. A lot of rappers I used to listen to back then come out of Sacramento, but anyway, man. Sure. But listen, going back, man. So, man, when I think of basketball nostalgia, NBA nostalgia, it takes me right back to those series in that era you're talking about, the '90s, man. The Jordan era was in full effect, man. And the Knicks and the Pacers, they were both underdog teams, man. So I found myself pulling for both, because as much as I big up Jordan during the time in real time, like most of the time I was rooting against, because I don't want to see the same people win all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? Or you just want to see the best basketball or competition to the level possible. Even if you wasn't going to Jordan, you want to see the competition taking all the way to the max, to the brink, like it did as he was coming up with the early boy Pistons, man, and stuff like that. We're saying that to say, man, because they was both underdog teams, they endeared themselves to the fans, man, true basketball heads, either by going to war against each other, because it was some brutal wars, and then both teams going to war against the Bulls, man. So it was some series from back in the days. I love that era of NBA basketball, and I don't want to be guys that that's comparing eras and get off my lawn and stuff like that. But it's just
Right.
different, just a different feel. It was more about grit, grind, and not flashy, and you know what I'm saying. What it is now. I'm not saying that it's lost its luster because I know the NBA still brings in millions and millions of dollars. So I
Right.
don't want the ones that saying that either. But it's just a different feel. You lost a lot of those. This era, it seems like we're missing a lot of that. We're missing a
It's more bougie,
yeah. But I
per
was
se.
just saying it kind of lost a lot of those hardcore basketball fans. This era did versus where you had people, like I said, just it's just way
I
more
think
way more commercialized now, and it wasn't then.
nah, that's a fact. Nah, that's a fact. Obviously, back in those days, we didn't have social
Critique.
media.
Yeah.
Say that again, my bad.
I was just saying, no critique. I'm not critiquing anything. I'm
No,
just
no, no. I'm with you 1,000%. I feel the same way you feel, man. Like not back in those days, shit, we didn't have social media. We couldn't just grab our phone and figure out the latest and greatest.
and that is a
Everything,
part of what I'm trying to say too. That really is. Social media has
yeah,
it's sensationalized it to a level. It's kind of it, and I think that kind of is why that hardcore fan exists to the level that they did back then. But go ahead. I'm done.
right. Because we had this back in that day, man. We had to pick up the newspaper. You know what I'm saying? It was either a newspaper or a magazine. You could turn on the tube and watch Sports Center, but shit, I used to be looking forward to the newspaper on Friday, man, and really Sunday. Honestly, that's when everything was Sunday. Sunday paper, that was the thickest newspaper there was during the week at that time. But with that, magazine clips, all that, those news, like I said, newspaper clippings, that's how we really found all our news, man. And it really took a little bit more effort as a fan to really seek out what was going on there. Also, man, throwing out their style of play as well. Style of play done got way softer nowadays than it was back in the day. Jordan come down the lane and Charles Oakley be down there, can forearm him straight in his face. And not only you'll be called a technical. It wasn't no going to the replay booth and seeing if it was a flagrant one, flagrant two. Nah, it was even if you was throwing punches, you know what I'm saying? It was that. I even take a step further and go back to the Detroit Pistons era, the bad boy era, man. It's a crazy time in sports, bro. But I definitely understand what you're saying from now that, you know, this style of play and basketball era is definitely, I don't want to say it's gotten, just go ahead and say it. It's definitely gotten a lot softer, you know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, they've also revolutionized the game with the 3-point line and just overall skill has gotten a little better.